Well, hello and welcome to the Single Father Podcast. I'm your host, Kendall Doniger, aka Father Deezy, here to give you one last episode of the show. I I announced on our social media page that this would be the last show that I'm doing. The last episode, if you will. And why is it's really a long story. You know, lately I've been having quite a bit on my mind, and I seem to do that when I come here on this podcast and I vent to you, my audience, and I always have a lot on my mind. And I was thinking about that, about the time that I take to do the podcast and the time that I take having to address the immediate needs that's going on with myself. And I just came to the conclusion that it's just not something that I have time for anymore. Or at least, I guess to put it bluntly, I don't really want to put time in it anymore. I think I need to put more time into myself. And if you read, the title of this episode is called It's Time. I think that is really the key to life, don't you think? Time. We spend a lot of time focused on the things that we think matter, but don't. Lately, I've been dealing with something quite personal that I'll share with you guys just because it's the last episode, but I got out of a breakup and I have very conflicting feelings about it. You know, when I go into a relationship, I tend to kind of be all in. I invest a lot of my time into it. And maybe it's a combination of not wanting to be alone and a combination of liking the feeling of being loved, but I think it's just I think I'm a natural romantic. I love the idea of love. I love a sappy love comedy, a rom com more than anyone else. I enjoy being with someone. At times, it's a lot better than being alone. And here's the thing about that. What I will say is the relationship that I was in. Um, it ended because of a complicated reason. She was faced with a really impossible choice. And out of respect, I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but the choice was extremely complicated. And it's one that I've factored in for a very long time now, but now we're at the finish line, if you will, the moment of truth. And here it is, the time for her to make the choice. And the choice was impossible. It was unfair. It was hard, but she made it, and I don't blame her for it because she made the choice that was right for her. Even in the moments where hours leading to that ultimate decision, she was trying to tell me about maybe a different option that she could take. And as she was telling me, I loved the idea of her choosing something different, but I knew in my head and my heart and my soul what the choice really was. And it ended up going the way it did. And I was sad. Yeah, I was pretty worked up about it. But so is life, I guess. You got to think about how you manage and direct your time. And I think we're all faced with choices. And, for a long, long time in my life, I have been making the wrong choices. I'll admit that to you right now. I have been making the wrong choices for a very, very long time. I don't know why either. It's not like I don't see the right choice. I see it. Every single time I see the right choice, I see it clearly, visually, right in front of me is clear as day, almost dancing right in front of me, raising its hand like, pick me, pick me. I see what the right choice is every single time, and it's almost like I just choose to ignore it, pretend that it's not there. I'll give you guys a news flash. It doesn't really get you anywhere when you do that. You think you know better than what's in your heart, but you don't. You're thinking with a different part of your body. I don't care what part it is, but it's not the part that makes rational and logical decisions. That part is saved. That part's saved when you become an adult, when you really grow up. That's when you start picking the right choice, the choice that you know that you were always supposed to choose. Any of you can relate to this. You're driving, right? You're driving on the street, and then all of a sudden you're home, and it's almost like you kind of just wake up, and you're like, "Holy shit! How did I even get home? How did I get here? Did I run through red lights? Did I like how? I'm not even sure how I got home. I was on autopilot." And sometimes it's dangerous doing that because you're not present in the moment. You're not living in the moment. You're just on autopilot, just going through the motions of A to B, and whatever gets you to B, with even, or excuse me, A to Z, and whatever gets you to Z, even if you have to ignore B, C, D, E, F, whatever, you just want to get to Z, and you don't take the steps necessary to get there. So you might have made it to Z, but you don't even know how. And there's nothing to really learn or reflect from that. I'm tired of making the wrong decisions. I'm tired of making the wrong choices. I no longer want at all to be put in a position where my choices are affecting my everyday life. I'm tired of it. I wish I could tell you that at 30 years old, I've understood what it means to be an adult, what it means to grow up, what it means to be a parent, but these are all things that I'm learning day by day, and I'll continue to learn, but they're all things that I could be a lot more advanced on if I just took the time to make the right choices. I've always just been concerned with what other people want me to do and what I think other people want me to do. I remember when I was younger, I was a young kid that went to middle school in Nebraska, and then I came to Las Vegas. And for any of you that can picture what that's like, it was an extreme culture shock. People were saying hella, I had no idea what that means. And I mean, I was just this, for as much as I blame my childhood, I was this really innocent sheltered kid, but I saw how everyone acted there, and I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be what these people I thought wanted me to be. So I see these people on like the bleachers, and they seem like the cool kids, kids that I would want to hang out with. And I go up to them and I gain some courage, and I go up and I say, "Hey, my name's Kendall. I talk white, but I'm black, and that's me. How are you?" Everybody looked at me with the most confusion. They're like, "What the fuck? Whoa, what did this kid just say? What kind of introduction is that?" But they thought I was funny, and they laughed. And I remember this one kid pulled me to the side and he's like, "Hey man, nice to meet you. I just want to let you know that you could have just said hello." And that stuck with me because I made a fool out of myself because of what I thought other people wanted me to be and sound like. And I thought they wanted me to be a certain way. And this kid came up to me and said all he really had to do was say hello. And it really got to me. All I had to do was say hello. I didn't have to show off or do this or that. All I really had to do was be myself. But I think I lost that myself. I don't know when I lost it, but I definitely lost it a long time ago. I don't know what it really meant to be myself at all. So I would always take on personalities of things and people that I felt that they wanted that from me. And after a while, I didn't know what was really me. I wasn't being myself anymore. I was being a version of what I thought other people wanted me to be. And I was never better off for it. And then everything in your life just becomes kind of fake after that. You become fake. You have fake friends, fake relationships, and you almost just kind of live a fake life. And eventually you start to get confused about what's real and what's fake. And that's sad. So, no more. I, I've been having a lot on my mind lately. And this is for all parents, but, I'm a male, and I excuse me for how the masculine this sentence may sound, but when you're a man, a father, I think you always have a lot in your mind. Bills, relationships, family, but you have a lot on your mind. And you don't really share that with a lot of people because you think, how could I share any part of myself? If they only knew what was inside my heart, they would see the pain that I actually feel, the struggles that are actually there, the hurt that I actually have. And then they'll see how vulnerable I am. And I can't let anyone see that. Because if I'm vulnerable, then someone can hurt me. And I've been hurt before. So you keep it in. These past few days, I've been keeping a lot in, to be honest. And yesterday, I ended up. I don't know if if any of you guys have this, but you sit on your barber chair or your hairdresser, whatever it is, and you sit there, and they're almost become like your therapist. And if they're not your therapist, it's kind of you're sitting there, so it's kind of your time to think. And so yesterday I got my hair braided, and I um I sat in that chair, and I just thought about a lot. Unfortunately, I thought about a lot that bothered me. And on the drive home, the drive was long, quiet. Sometimes that's nice, but sometimes you're just kind of trapped. Nothing to distract you but you and your thoughts. I got in my house, I walked through the door, and I didn't have my daughter this week, so I felt how empty my house felt. I went into the bathroom, and I was trimming off some pieces of my hair, and boom, I get an intense amount of anxiety. So I sit down for a second, and then my Apple Watch dings and says, "You have a very high heart rate." And I check my watch, my heart rate's at 110. Well, that freaks me out, right? And then boom, it's at 120. Boom, 130. Boom, 140. Boom, 150. And I'm like, holy shit, my heart rate's getting kind of high. I need to calm down. So I get up and I start to drink some water, but then boom, 160. Boom, 170. 170? Are you kidding me? My heart's at this point beating through my chest. I feel like it's coming out of my throat. Boom, 180. 180. I can't take it anymore. I'm freaking out. You only have like a 180 heart rate. I've never heard of someone having a 180 heart rate while they're just sitting and chilling at home. This isn't a panic attack. It can't be a panic attack. And I haven't had panic attacks in years. I know what this is. I can manage a panic attack. This is a heart attack. I know what this is. I have to call the ambulance. I get on the phone. I call the ambulance. They say, "How can you check your pulse? Do you know how fast your heart is beating?" Boom, 190. Boom, 195. I am at a heart rate of 195. I have never, to my knowledge, have ever experienced something like this where my heart rate was that high. I've never even heard of someone's heart rate going that high. I am convinced that I'm going to die. And the feeling that I feel waiting for this ambulance to get there is I'm convinced that I'm going to pass out by the time that they get here. When someone walked by me, because I stepped outside of my house to get some air, someone walked by me and I said, "Excuse me," but I couldn't. I realized I didn't say "excuse me" very loud. I could barely speak. My throat was clogged. I said, I could not get the words out of my mouth. So even though I was yelling "excuse me," nothing came out. So the person walked right by, and I became embarrassed. I'm outside. I'm gonna die in front of my house. I became angry. 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 Can you believe it? I'm right here about to die, and I become upset. I mean, there is fear there, but I become overwhelmingly upset. I am about to die and I'm mad. And why? Because I wanted more time. I wanted more time with my daughter. I wanted more time to have the life that I've always wanted. I wanted more time just to live. And the feeling that I felt right before all of this happened, the feeling of depression, the feeling of wanting to die, the feeling of emptiness, now I'm filled with purpose. Right as I know that I'm going to die, I feel a sense of purpose. And then I hear the ambulance come. I get back inside. I sit on my chair. And here it is. They come through the door. And then my heart rate, beating faster than you wouldn't even believe, all the way to 200. I have never in my life heard of someone having a heart rate of 200. I'm having heart palpitations. For anyone of you out there who know what heart palpitations are, it's when you feel like your heart skips a beat. I'm convinced that I'm having a heart attack, and I'm angry. I'm angry because if I just had more time. The paramedics come up the stairs, and the moment I see them, my heart rate of 200, do 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 do, he goes down, boom, 190, boom, 180. They hook up their machines to my chest and my arms and my legs, and I see my heart rate, 170, boom, 160, boom, 150, boom. They're asking me questions. They said, one of the things that they said is, has anything been going on in your life? And I said, yes. And then, have you been checking your watch when you felt anxiety? Did you check your watch the entire time, watching your heart rate go up? And I said, yes. And they said, sir, you're getting plenty of oxygen. Your vitals seem perfect. Your blood pressure's perfect. I think what you had is a massive, massive panic attack. But there is nothing here that indicates that you're going to die or you're having a heart attack. And then I see my heart rate. Boom. 130. Boom. 120. 110. 100. And and then I become upset for a different reason. More like a realization. The realization was that if these paramedics, just seeing them could make me feel okay and convince my body that I was fine, then I sure as hell have the capability of doing that myself. Why wasn't I able to let myself feel calm? I was too busy checking my watch, checking the time. When I felt like I was running out of time, all I wanted was more of it. And I realized that time is not only the key to life, the meaning of it, if you will, but I realized that we, to an extent, have control, not over time, but what we do with our time. And I spent the whole day stressing and reminiscing over things that I've done, that I've lost, things that are making me upset, things that are a waste of my time. And I realized at that moment that it's all in my head. I have control of how I spend my time and what I spend time thinking about. I have control over it. Me. And I will not give one more moment wasting time thinking about ghosts. And I'll tell you exactly what I mean. In my relationship, the one that just ended, I cared for her quite a bit, yes. But now that it's ended, I realized how much time I actually gave to that relationship. It was the time that I gave to that I took away from my job, my family, things that I should have spent more time focused on. I gave all of myself, 100% of myself and my time to that relationship, and other things in my life faltered because of that. And now that it's ended, I'm more focused, I'm more clear. And although these last couple days have been blurry for different reasons, I realized what I should have been spending my time on. That's not to say um, that you shouldn't give time to relationships, but I think it's when it's in everyone's interest to realize when you're wasting time and how much of your time you're willing to give. You should never give 100% of yourself to someone, not 100. You should always leave a little bit for yourself. That way you at least have something to come back to. Even with my own daughter, I give 99% of myself to that girl, but I leave 1% just for me. And so I know that when she gets mad at me or gets upset with me or begs me for more candy when I know that she's had enough, I have the ability to come back to myself and realize I'm the parent, she's the child, and at least I have some of myself to come back to. And not everything I have is even given to my own child. You need something for yourself, something to come back to when you're feeling lost or scared. In the moments that you feel uncertain, you can come back to yourself and think, how am I spending my time and what areas of myself do I want to give? And that's nothing against the woman that I used to date. I think in every relationship it teaches you something. But I don't want to spend more of my time thinking about shoulda, woulda, couldas, or what ifs, or this or that. I want to spend my time moving forward. And in that exact moment that I realized that I had the power to choose, that I had the power to decide what I give my time to, at that moment I became over the relationship entirely. No disrespect, right? But I let it go. I let it go. I took a thumbtack and I put it on a wall. The wall of relationships, I guess, or all of the things that have made me sad or brought me pain. And at first, when you put that photo of the thing that you can visualize that have brought you so much pain, when you put it on that wall, you can visualize it so clearly. You can see it as clear as day, vivid, clear, precise, pristine. But the more time that passes, that image becomes a little bit more blurry, a little bit more pixelated. And then one day, you look at that wall, and all you see is a shadow. You don't remember what that face looks like. You don't remember what that image is. You know that that's something that brought you pain. But you don't feel pain anymore because you can't see the thing that brought you the pain. Because you've chosen not to see it. Just like I choose to decide what I bring my time to, I choose what I see. Now, to some of you right now, that may sound unhealthy. Like you're choosing you're picking and choosing memories that you want to see. I am. And some things I keep in the back of my head, and some things I bring to full focus. Some things become a blur, lost on a wall of something of people that I've used to know. And if I can't see the thing that's bringing me pain, then there really can't be pain at all, can there? Everything that brings you pain, you can see it. The pain in your neck, you can attribute it to something. But I don't see a face anymore. I don't see the image that I put on that wall. All that's there is just a shadow. And therefore no more pain. No more time given to it. Now I will admit to you, I say this, but there are and there will be moments where the split seconds in between my eyes as they blink, there'll be times, sometimes, where you see an image. You blink and then you see the smile. You blink and then you see some eyes. You blink and then you see a memory. And the more you blink, that image becomes less blurry and more clear. And you blink, you blink and you blink and you blink because you're trying to blink it out of existence. But each time that you blink, you see more and more of that picture until your eyes are wide open and you see whatever that is, that feeling, that memory, that image. You see it so clearly. You see the moment that they made you laugh, that you held them in your arms, and you hear the words come out of your mouth when they say, or when you both say, "This is forever." But what I do in those moments is I just stop blinking and I allow the image to come in my head. I acknowledge it and then I let it pass. And now that you've seen the image, a feeling will come with that. Maybe it's a feeling of happiness, joy, beauty, or pain. And you acknowledge that feeling. You can even let it in. And then you let it pass. You're choosing to do that. I am choosing to let this feeling in and I am choosing to let it go. Just as simple as breathing in and breathing out. I take it in and then I let it go. Off to the shadows you go. So no, there will not be a time where I am crippled by a relationship, or I am stuck with a feeling, or I am broken by depression. I am going to choose what I give my time to. And I'm also going to choose myself. Just as I don't blame her that she chose herself, I'm going to choose myself. I'm going to stop being what other people want me to be. And I am going to be exactly who I am. So I'm going to dance when I want to dance. I'm going to listen to Taylor Swift if I want to. I will drink a fruity drink if I so feel like it. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do what I want to do because I want to do it. I'm going to be who I want to be because I want to be it. I'm going to live the life that I want to. I am going to make the right decisions. I'm going to be myself. And I realized that if I really want to be myself, I got to find out exactly who that is. And that's a journey only I can take. And I wish I could take you guys with me. But unfortunately, this ride is a one-seater. Coming on here has been therapeutic for me. It's the one time where I felt like I wasn't alone. But I realized that I don't want to hold on to one thing to not feel so bad. I have the power myself to make myself feel okay. We're so concerned with waiting for that ambulance, waiting for that one thing we can hold on to. Because once we hold on to that one thing, once the ambulance comes, we feel fine. But it's not always going to be there. We can't always give 100% of ourselves to that one thing. Because when that one thing disappears, then what? Are we so lost? Are we so out of control that we can't gain control of our own emotions? So no, I can't do this podcast anymore. Because I need to know what it's like to do things on my own. To be okay on my own. It's time. And it also means it's time to say goodbye. It may not be forever, but it definitely is for now. And you know what? The curse of giving a fuck too much is you're always concerned about what's next. Worried about the future. And I think for the first time in my life, I'm excited to see how it all plays out. And what an adventure it is to not know, huh? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I appreciated your guys' support. I appreciated you guys just listening. I hope some of my episodes have meant something to some people, brought closure or therapeutic nature to, I guess, your situation. And I'm sorry that I couldn't stick around, but, you know, it's time. And for everyone out there who is feeling alone, trust me, you're not. Everything is okay in the end, and if it's not okay, it's not the end. You have the power. You have the choice to be okay on your own. You don't need an ambulance to feel okay. You just need yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, to all of the parents, fathers, and just the people who have joined me for a listen, thank you very much. My name is Kendall Donaker, and we'll get through this together. One step, one choice, one day at a time. Bye-bye.